Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Cheltenham Racecourse here on day one of the Cheltenham Festival. It is Tuesday, the 14th of March, 2023. We're going to look at all the races on day one of the festival, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me throughout the week for some more Cheltenham previews. But it's day one of the festival. We have 7 races to look at. Let's get to it right now, starting off with the first race, the 130, which is the Grade 1 Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses going for a $162,000 purse. Race for novice 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 14 horses going 3,200 meters or 2 miles over the hurdle course. Gonna take the 14 horse here, Tomaros, as a top selection. I'm gonna go 14-4 in your forecast exacta. That's my top 2 basically, but the top selection would be the 14 horse Tomaros. A 6-year-old gelding by Falco here. Paul Nichols trains. Harry Cobden gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came at Sandown on the 7th of January. Soft ground, 2 miles in the Grade 1 Tolworth Novices Hurdle, and the horse won by 2.5 lengths that day, and he jumped a terrific race. He was always forwardly paced. He had great momentum jumping. He quickened up nicely, and he went away with it. Definitely best race lifetime. He improved with the class increase. Coming here today, more class shouldn't be a problem. I think he could jump the good race and find the winner's enclosure today. 2 back at Haydock on the 19th of November, 2 miles soft ground on Class 1 listed novice hurdle, and he won by 5.5 lengths that day. And again, he was on cruise control all throughout. He quickened up nicely. Another very easy race there, and then seasonal reappearance first over the jumps at Chepstow on the 2nd of November. 2 miles in Class 4 National Main Hurdle. He won by 8 lengths that day. And again, he just destroyed the competition. Refreshing here today, off a little bit of a break. I think he could really run that good race. At 8-1, I'm going to use him. I think your second likeliest winner and a horse to definitely use in your place pot would be the 4-horse Dr. Bravo. 6-year-old gelding by Dr. Dino. Gordon Elliott trains. Davy Russell gets the mount. Most recently, they ran the horse at Gowran on the 18th of February. 2 miles in the Grade 3 Red Mills Trial Red Mills Trial Hurdle, and the horse finished third by 1.5 lengths, and he just couldn't get there late. If the race was a little bit longer, he probably would have won, but he ran his heart out there. Before that, Down Royal on 24th of January, 2 miles in Main Hurdle, he won by 2.25 lengths. Even with the high weight, he quickened up nicely and stayed the trip well. Great run for him that day, an all-around good run for him. And then on Boxing Day at Leopardstown in a Main Hurdle, he finished second by 3 lengths, and he just needed something more, but he ran decently. Refreshing here, he is going up in class, but I'm going to give him a shot at 20-1 in the multi-race place pot. So to recount my selection for the first, the 230 from Cheltenham, it's the Grade 1 Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle. Let's take it as the top selection 14 horse Tomaros. Give kudos to the 4 horse Dr. Bravo. 14-4 forecast exacta. Use them both in that place pot. To the 210, the second race. The second race, the 210 from Cheltenham, it is the Grade 1 Sporting Life Arkle Challenge Trophy Novices Chase. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses going for a $210,000 purse race for novice 5-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going to the chase course this time, 3,200 meters or 2 miles on that chase course. Going to take the 3-horse El Fabiolo as a top selection. Let's go 3-6-7 in your TriCast trifecta. 3-6-7 TriCast trifecta, top selection of 3-horse El Fabiolo. This 6-year-old gelding by Spanish Moon. Willie Mullins trains. Paul Townend gets them out. The horse's most recent outing came the 4th of February at Leopardstown, 2 miles and 1/8 in the Grade 1 Irish Arkle Novices Chase, and he won by 10 lengths that day, and he put on a show. He quickened up nicely after jumping a terrific race, and he won it on the run in a very, very good run. Coming here to the UK again, first time since last April, I think he could get the trip to win. 2 back in a beginner's chase at Ferryhouse, 2 miles on the 21st of December, seasonal reappearance. He won by 19, and the bigger obstacles wasn't an obstacle for him at all because he was cruising over them. He quickened up nicely. An all-around good return to the races there. And then prior to that, novice hurdle at Punchestown, 2 miles on the 29th of April. He won by 4 lengths that day, and he again, just had a great run in and got the job done. It was a par race with the blinkers headgear on last year off a bit of a break. I came at Aintree, 2 miles into 16th in the Grade 1 top novices hurdle. He finished second by neck behind John Bond, who's running back in this one today. This horse, he just couldn't keep up late, but I do think the blinkers got to him. Also, first starts into the maiden hurdle race at Tremor on New Year's Day 2022 might have caused a problem with him also. But refreshing here off some quick turnarounds, off some decent runs. I think he can find the winner's circle, so I'm going to use him here. Can't throw out the 6-horse John Bon either. Aiden Coleman's on this one for Nicky Henderson, but the problem is he ran here at the festival last year in the Supreme Novices Hurdle, and he lost. He finished second by 22 lengths behind Constitution Hill. Constitution Hill's a freak running late in the car, but this horse, just couldn't keep up. That was his only subpar race, only loss. After that he won the top novices hurdle entry, came back to win a novice chase at Warwick, came back to win the Henry VIII novices chase, came back to win the Kingmaker novices chase at Warwick again. Coming here today, I'm going to use him, but that Cheltenham race, okay, he got beat by a very classy horse, but at Cheltenham you need to have the good trip. He's facing the toughest competition he's facing this year, the most horses he's facing this season. Also, he's run against two horses last time, or one other horse last time out, three other horses in the at Sandown, and two other horses at Warwick. So it's going to be the biggest field size he's going to be facing in about a year's time. But he can win. I'll use him on the play spot, but I do think Al Fabiolo is your very likely winner. I like his races in Ireland. I think those could really do wonders here today. But to recount my selection for the second, the 210 from Cheltenham, it's the Grade 1 Arkle Challenge Trophy Novices Chase. Let's take the 3-horse Al Fabiolo. Give kudos to the 6-horse John Bon. 3-6-7 Tri-Cash Trifecta. We'll go 3-6 in your multi-race. To the third event. The third race, the 250 from Cheltenham, it's the Ultima Handicap Chase. It's a premier handicap chase Class 1 event going for a $150,000 purse race for 5-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 23 horses heading to the post. The distance of ground here of 5,000 meters or 3 miles and 1/8 over the chase course. I'm going to take as a top selection here the number 12 horse, Nasalam. I'm going to go 12-6 in your forecast exacta. 12-6 forecast exacta, top selection of 12 horse Nasalam. This 6-year-old given by Dreamwell. Gary Moore trains this one. Jamie Moore gets the mount. The horse hasn't been seen since New Year's Day. That came here at Cheltenham. 2 miles 5/8 in a Class 1 Premier Handicap Chase, and he finished third by 3.5 lengths that day. And he never quickened up and never weakened out of it. He was staying the trip well. Off of that run, I think he wants to go longer, 3 miles extended today. He's going to get it. He has a good weight. He should handle the going. And I think off the refreshing, he should be fresh enough to win. And I think he could find the winner's enclosure today. 2 back on the 12th of November here at Cheltenham. 2 miles and a half in a Class 1 Premier Handicap Chase, and he finished 6 by 11 lengths that day. He saw faster ground than he probably didn't like. He just never quickened up. He kind of hit the wall. Very lackadaisical with the jumps. It wasn't his day to win. And then seasonal reappearance on the 29th of October at Ascot. Very fast ground. 2 miles and 8 in the Class 1 Premier Handicap Chase. Finished 5th by 21 lengths that day. The winner, Time White's a decent horse. This horse just never was really going. Probably wasn't 100% cranked, and also not liking the ground. His final start of the season last year came at Fontwell, 2 miles 7/16 in a Class 3 novice limited handicap chase, where he won by 1.5 lengths, even with a high weight and the blinkers on that day for the only time. He took off clear. It was a very, very good jumping victory. Refreshing here off the bench, should like the yielding going. I think he could really run a good race and win. I think the 5-horse 3 under through 5 is your second likeliest winner for Paul Nichols, and the 6-horse faster. The 6-horse Faster's Flow is your second likeliest winner for Martin Brassel and JJ Slevin. Most recently the ran the horse at Ireland in the Dublin Chase, where he finished 5th by 26 lengths, not keeping up. Very tough horses there. Prior to that, the Punchestown Chase at Punchestown in December, very tough horses, finishing 5th by 21 lengths, never getting into it. Last time in a handicap at Punchestown last season in a handicap hurdle with the 2 miles 5/8, he finished second by 9 lengths, and he couldn't catch the winner who just jumped better. But this horse was staying the trip well. I think he's another horse that should really go up with a longer trip. He ran here last year in the Coral Cup Handicap Hurdle, where he finished second by a nose. All out finish. He just missed, but he ran his heart out at 18-1. Refreshing here this season. Close no cigar from last year. I'm going to give him a shot in the place and quad pot here at the beginning of the quad pot, so I think you want to go a little deep in this one. So to recap my selection for the 250, the third race from Cheltenham, it's the Ultima Handicap Chase. Let's take the number 12 horse in Asylum as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 6-horse Faster's Flow, 12-6 forecast exacta, and we'll use them both in the multi-race, like I said. Let's get to the featured 4th race now from Cheltenham. The 330, the fourth race from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 1 Champion Hurdle Challenge Trophy. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses going for a $540,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. 7 horses are going 3,200 meters or 2 miles over the hurdle course. I'm going to take a shot here with an upsetter with the 5-horse State Man. Let's go 5-1-6 in your TriCast trifecta. 5-1-6 TriCast trifecta. Top selection of 5-horse State Man. 6-year-old gelding by Dr. Dino. Willie Milnes trains this one. Paul Townend gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the Grade 1 Irish Champion Hurdle, Leopardstown, 2 miles on the 5th of February, and he won by 4 1/4 lengths that day, and he kept jumping a terrific race. When he got the whip, he quickened up nicely, and he got the job done, a very good race. He's coming here to Cheltenham off of a decent run last season. I think he could really improve and give, Constitution Hill a run for his money. 2 back in the Matheson's Hurdle at Leopardstown, 2 miles, 29th of December. He won by 4 1/4 lengths, and again, they never really got to the under of the horse. He quickened up nicely, went away with it, a very good run there, and then seasonal reappearance at Punchestown in the Morjana Hurdle. He won by 4 lengths, and again, very easy run. Probably wasn't 100% cranked, but it's still a good run. He ran in the county handicap hurdle here last year over the 2 miles and a furlong, and he won by 1 1/4 lengths, and he destroyed the group of horses home. Came back to run at Punchestown during the festival in April, where he won by 7 again, staying the trip well. Refreshing here, yielding ground, which he should absolutely do wonders with. I think he could run a good race. I'm going to use him with the 1-horse Constitution Hill also. 6-year-old gelding by Blue Bressel. Nico de Boinville's on this one for Nicky Henderson. He's been pretty perfect. Won the Christmas Hurdle by 17 last time out. Won a fighting 5th at Newcastle in November by a dozen. Won the Supreme Novices Hurdle last year at the festival by 22. Won the Tolworth last season by 12. And then on debut over the jumps, he won by 14 at Sandown and during the Tingle Creek meeting of 2021. He's done everything right, but I think today's going to be his biggest challenge. I think he's facing a very tough group of horses. Even your outsiders, they're decent quality horses. But I think State Man is just that little bit better race in Ireland against those horses, and I think he could find the trip to win. I'm going to use State Man, but also Constitution Hill can win, but I'm going to try and find a better price. But to recap my selection for the 330, the fourth race from Cheltenham now, it's the Grade 1 Champion Hurdle Challenge Trophy. Let's take as a top selection of 5-horse State Man. Give kudos to the 1-horse Constitution Hill. 5-1-6 TriCast trifecta. 5-1 in your multi-race to the 5th race. The 410, the 5th race from Cheltenham. It is the Grade 1 Close Brothers Mares Hurdle. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses going for a $153,500 purse. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Fillies mares only. We have a field of 10 horses going 4,000 meters or 2 miles and a half over the hurdle course. I'm going to take as a top selection the 8-horse Queensbrook. Let's go 8-4-3 in your TriCast trifecta. 8-4-3 TriCast trifecta. Top selection 8-horse Queensbrook. 8-year-old mare by Scirocco, who's best to be remembered by winning the 2005 Breeders' Cup turf at Belmont. I believe Christophe Simeon rode him that day, he's a great horse. And very soft ground it was that day at Belmont. And in particular, if I remember correctly, that whole fall at Belmont, they never saw firm ground, which was quite amazing. But back to the jumps here. Queensbrook most recently ran in the Grade 3. Gordon Elliott trades one. Dave Russell gets mounted. I think I said that. But most recently, the horse ran in Punchestown 22nd of February. 2 miles, 9/16 in the Grade 3 Cuvanga Mares Hurdle. And the horse won by 4.5 lengths that day. And she basically put on a show on the front end. She quickened up nicely. She jumped well. An all-around good race. She is stepping up to Grade 1 quality horses today. She placed in this race last year behind Mary's Rock. I think she has the hidden form to win here, and I think she's on the momentum to really run her race for life. Also getting Davey Russell up today doesn't kill at all. 2 back in the Grade 3 Irish EBF Mares Hurdle at Leopardstown, 2 miles and a half on the 29th of December. She finished second by 4.5 lengths, and at 62 cents a dollar, she just couldn't get that good few fluid jumps that day. She couldn't quicken up late. It just wasn't her day to win. She got beat by a better horse on the day. And then in mid-November at Punchestown, 2 miles 16 in Mares Listed Hurdle, winning by a half a dozen that day. She got the job done very, very easily. A major improvement off her seasonal reappearance at Limerick and a Mares Hurdle, where she finished third by 15 lengths, and she just never quickened up there. She ran last season here in this one, where she finished second by 1 3/4 lengths behind Mare's Rock, who absolutely freaked that day. But this horse got around the race course well. Maybe the final hurdle wasn't so clear, but she got around the race course well. Refreshing at 12-1, I'm going to use her. You can't throw out the incredible 4-horse Honeysuckle, but she's getting up in age. Rachel Blackmore's on this one for Henry de Bromhead. I do think this horse is going to get very overbet, which she shouldn't, because her races most recently have been horrible. In the Irish Champions Hurdle at Leopardstown against the boys over the 2 miles, she finished second by 4 3/4 lengths that day. Very overbet, I thought, that day at just over evens. She never jumped the fluid race. She never quickened up, and it just wasn't her day to win. Prior to that, in the Hatton Grace Hurdle at Ferry House, 2.5 miles on the 4th of December, she finished third by 2 3/4 lengths, and again, just not showing up that day. But her form last year was pretty perfect. She won by 3 in the Champion Hurdle at Punchestown, won the Champion Hurdle last year here by 3.5 lengths, won the Irish Champion Hurdle at Leopardstown before that, and won Hatton Grace Hurdle by 8 lengths, basically her best race lifetime. To the 9-year-old campaign today, she hasn't really shown a lot, and it looks like she's digressed, but she does have that hidden form. She is getting some class relief facing the mares today, but those last few races are just a bit of head scratchers. I do prefer Queensbrook at that price of 12-1. She's been, she's been getting better. Honeysuckles looks like her form's been digressing, which is not a good sign. But I'm going to take the shot with Queensbrook and the place and quad pot here. Honeysuckle I'll use too, but Queensbrook is going to get very nice each way for me. She's my co-best bet of the day. My best bet's coming up later in the card. But to recount my selection for the 5th, the 410 from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 1 Close Brothers Mares Hurdle. Let's take the 8-horse Queensbrook. Give kudos to the 4-horse Honeysuckle. 8-4-3 Tricast Trifecta. 8-4 in your multi-race. To the 6th event. The 450, the 6th race from Cheltenham, it is the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Hurdle. It's a premier juvenile handicap hurdle for Class 1 horses, going for $96,000 purse, race for juvenile 4-year-olds here. We have a field of 24 horses entered, but only 22 could go the distance of ground of 3,200 meters or 2 miles over the hurdle course. I'm going to take a shot with the 19-horse Ludus as a top selection, or Lotus. I'm going to go 19-2 in your forecast exacta. 19-2 forecast exacta, top selection 19-horse Lotus. It's 4-year-old gelding by New Approach. Corn Elliott trains. Jordan Gainford gets the mounts. The horse's most recent outing came 30th of January at Punchestown, 2 miles in a juvenile handicap hurdle, and he finished second by 2.5 lengths. He just couldn't get to the good turn of foot late. The winner had the jump on him, but this horse got around the race course decently. He's getting no weight today, basically. Only 144 pounds, which I think should suit him well on the outside. He should quicken up nicely off of that, and I think he could have the trip to win. 2 back at Limerick on Boxing Day, 2 miles in juvenile main hurdle. He won by 2.5 lengths that day, and again, he took off clear. He was under the drive, but excelling, quickened up nicely. A very good jumping victory, and then a cork 2 miles and 8th in the juvenile main hurdle. He finished 5th by 12 lengths that day, and he just never really got going. A few mistakes which caused him, and then first over the jumps at Navan, he finished 12th by 22 lengths, where he just wasn't getting going. Refreshing here, getting better with every single race. I'm going to give him a shot here, 20-1 in this very wide open event. I think the second likeliest winner is the 2-horse TKO. This 4-year-old gelding by Dr. Dino. Mark Walsh gets on this one for Willie Mullins. Most recently in the Spring Juvenile Hurdle, Leopardstown on the 4th of February. 2 miles that day. He finished third by 13 lengths that day. The two in front of him just jumped that bit of race, but this horse with blinkers on, he was excelling that day a little bit late. Before that, on the 27th of December at Leopardstown, 2 miles in the juvenile main hurdle, he won by half a length that day. He was all out that day, but he got there in the nick of time. He had to be used a lot, but it was still a very good run. And then Nav at the end of November, 2 miles in the juvenile main hurdle, he finished third by 10 lengths that day, and he just couldn't keep up. He's another horse, even with the defeat last time out, he did jump up a few rating points against his tougher horses. He's going down in class here today to a handicap. Off some decent runs against some tougher horses last time out, he could definitely win. We'll use him in the place pot to end it off, but I'm going to take a shot with the 19-horse Lotus as a top selection. I think he has a little bit of value here as an outside play. But to recount my selection for the 450, the 6th race from Cheltenham, it's Boodle Juvenile's Handicap Hurdle. Let's take the 9-horse Ludus. Give kudos to the 2-horse TKO. 19-2 forecast exacta. Use them both in the multi-race. Let's get to the nightcap, the 7th race from Cheltenham. The nightcap on day 1 of the festival from Cheltenham, the 7th race, the 5:30. It is the Grade 2 National Hunt Challenge Cup Amateur Jockeys Novice Chase. It's a Grade 2 event for Class 1 horses, going for a $150,000 purse. Race for novice 5-year-olds and upwards. Field of 10 horses going to the post. The distance of ground here, of 6,000 meters or 3 miles and 3/4 over the chase course. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 8 horse, Mr. Coffee. Let's go 841 in your tri-cash trifecta. 841 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection, 8 horse, Mr. Coffee. 8-year-old gelding by Authorized. Nicky Henderson trains this one. Gets Derek O'Connor up in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came the 11th of February after Uttoxeter. 3 miles in a Class 2 handicap chase where he finished second by a length that day, and he just couldn't get the good turn a foot late, but he didn't go down without a fight. I think he wants to go a longer trip. He's going to get it today. He's had decent races here locally. I think he's sitting on that very good run here at an outside bet, to the point of he's going to be my best bet of the day. Two back on the 27th of December at Chepstow, 3 miles in a novice limited handicap chase Class 3 event. He finished second by 5 lengths that day, and again, the winner just jumped better than him. First off the bench, probably wasn't 100% cranked, but he did get around the race course decently there. And then the grade 3 Randox Tophin handicap chase, 2 miles 5/8 at Aintree last April, finished 16th by 50 lengths. As a 5-1 lukewarm favorite, he just wasn't showing up there, but he had a great run in this one last year. In the Amateur Riders Handicap Chase last year on 17th of March, 3 miles and a quarter there. He finished second by 2 1/4 lengths, and he just couldn't get the good running, but he stayed the trip well. I didn't think it was a half bad race. If it was longer, he would have really made the race interesting late, but it was still a very good run. And then the grade 1 Skilly Isles Novices Chase with Sandown last season over the 2.5 miles. He finished second by 21 lengths that day. The winner is a decent horse. This horse just wasn't catching him. Coming to the handicap, longer trip, like I've been saying, should really suit him well. At 8-1, he's my best bet of the day. I'm going to go to the bank with him. So to recap my selection for the 5:30, 7th race from Cheltenham, it's the Grade 1 National Hunt Challenge Cup Amateur Jockeys Novice Chase. Let's take the 8 horse Mr. Coffee, 841 Tri-Cash Trifecta. We'll use the 8 as, my best bet of the day, like I said. So good luck to all. Join me tomorrow for Day 2 previews from Cheltenham. Good luck, everybody. And follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5.